'Tis I, your royal king.
Oh my god, it's a pig.
Maybe it's a good thing I don't like bacon. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about Disenchantment. Or more specifically, the character you've all been waiting for! It's time for my analysis video on Prince Merkimer of Bentwood.
Hey.
To give a little background, I've gone for at least 5 drafts in trying to do this guy justice, since I didn't know how to approach Merkimer as a character.
That's okay, I don't listen to women.
On the one hand, he's an interesting guy, who sounds like a timekeeper dolphin.
My true name is Bubbles.
On the other hand, I have a few issues with him and the episodes he stars in. Should I have given him the Dagmar treatment and listed the problems I had with him one by one? Or should he get the Una treatment and a timeline of events? Yeah, it's easier if I just go with both. Just between you and me, it's super hard to say his name in scripts. I don't know why, but my mouth feels like it's full of rocks whenever I try to say the word Merkimer. There's also the fact that because Merk's such a prominent character, this might be a longer than normal review. And Filmora can only really handle 10 minutes before it starts to lag and crash. Well, good thing I got rid of that and bought myself Final Cut Pro on a student discount. So without further delay, let's discuss. Prince Merkimer first appears in the pilot. As you all know, Bean was previously engaged to marry Merkimer's brother cousin, Crown Prince Gilmore.
Va-va-voom. You never do that for me.
Yes, I said brother cousin. Because the first season wanted to take shots at Game of Thrones, obviously before the seasonal rot set in, they wanted to make fun of the fact one of the antagonists was in a relationship with her brother. Just for some reason, Gisbert's parents, King Lorenzo and Queen Bunny, are open about it unlike Cersei and Jaime.
We are brother and sister. What of it?
And their son/nephew.
Maybe that's why they only have 2 kids. Just before we continue, I love Bunny's design and that birdcage crown thing, and Lorenzo is really rocking those high-heeled boots. It seems Merkimer was at the shallow end of the gene pool because Gisbert cannonballed in.
Okay.
The wedding goes down, Bean doesn't like Gisbert, and he dies.
I think I'm still alive. No, wait, never mind.
Hush, Gisbert, there's a wedding in progress. Lorenzo and Bunny, eager to save the Alliance, tell Zog they have another son.
Well, why did you say so? What's his name?
Merkimer.
Merkimer, okay.
And he has no problem marrying Bean.
Don't be sad. She would have left him for me anyway.
Seemingly, Merkimer can't be any different from his brother. He's the definition of a foil, and a total hate sink. Whereas his brother is the obvious product of brother and sister Monopoly night, but still seemed like a nice guy all around, Merkimer has normal level intelligence. And I emphasize normal, if only because he's a total oaf and an idiot in every other sense.
I won't even dignify that with an upward glance.
Without trying to sound political and just trying to make an analogy, he's basically 2005 Prince Harry. He's a party animal, he sleeps around a lot, gets sloshed, the whole shebang. But I guess because he's spared of the throne, he is a total ladies' man all the same. You'll soon see why. Now, this dynamic could be interesting. Being fought by getting married, she belonged to somebody she didn't love.
Before we marry and I enter a state of semi-permanent pregnancy...
But unlike an obviously evil monster, Merkimer doesn't seem like he'd want to get married either, or that he abused Bean. I doubt he'd care if Bean slept around, or continued to drink like a fish. Maybe Bean could go through with marrying Merkimer, as strictly business, but they formed some kind of a partnership. As if. Yet, of course, thanks to Alpho, Bean runs away, and Merkimer and Pendergast round up a search party.
Man the lifeboats!
They track down Bean and drag her back to Dreamland, where the wedding will be held in a few days. During the next episode, For Whom the Pig Oinks, Bean tries to find a way out of the marriage, but her only option seems to be to kill Merkimer. And thanks to Mermaid Island's party barge, she has a plan. When the ship goes to its destination, she'll rig it so Merkimer gets free, jumps overboard, and likely drown or get ripped apart by mermaids. This plan seems to work, right?
I'm Merkimer. I can't wait to meet you. I don't need your names, though.
Somehow, he went to Walrus Island.
Climb aboard.
And I guess since he's either an idiot or the walruses are magical, he ends up sleeping with the entire pack.
Mermaids, attack!
Let me explain what's happening if you didn't get it. This dude slept with dozens of walruses, killed an entire ship full of people, and then presented the head of their admiral to his future father-in-law. Your Highness, Zapp Brannigan wants to have a word with you. What Gatorade are you drinking? The wedding comes, and Alpho, for some reason, persuades Merkimer to drink what he thinks is elf blood, but is really pig's blood. And y'all know what happens.
What's happening? Well, this is odd.
Pretty problematic.
I cannot marry that pig, Merkimer. I can't do it.
One speech from Bean is enough to call off the alliance.
You're all invited to our marital evening.
Wouldn't they be anyway? Wedding ceremonies were a thing for centuries. To get off topic once again, I do agree with a lot of people the pilot and the next episode should have just been combined. What's the point of Bean running away if it's for nothing? She just gets captured the next episode. And honestly, the second episode kinda drags till we get to the wedding. No joke, it took me a couple tries to get through episode 2. Whereas I watched the pilot in one sitting. It should have started at the church, where we meet Bean, and she doesn't want to marry Giesbert. The murder happens, and then Merkimer comes in. Only they need time to make preparations, so the wedding is on hold for a few days. Then the second half should have been about Bean trying to kill Merkimer. From this point on, Merkimer doesn't really do anything besides stay a pig. His parents go back home, completely unaffected with the fact Bentwood doesn't have an heir, and they leave him and his brother in Dreamland. There is a subplot of Merc trying to get Lucy to send him up, but it goes nowhere. That takes us to part 2. Because Merkimer was out in the woods, he was unaffected by Dagmar's potion, so he and Zog end up living in Dreamland for months. Just the two of them, scrounging for scraps. It's all fun and games until the Bozaks show up.
Quick question. Do you think they're still mad at me for chopping off the head of their beloved admiral? Stop moping and grab life by the tail.
Good thing Zog rescues him.
Fight my shiny metal axe!
While I really like this episode, this is where the problems with Merkimer become more apparent. Up until this point, I figured he would just be a background character who got 1 or 2 more appearances. Just to thank whoever pointed this out, since it's a running theme with his appearances from this point forward, Merkimer isn't a character. He's a plot device. He exists just so the plot can happen, the characters can go a certain way. He's some weird fairy godmother. In his first appearance, he's a hate sink just so Bean can give a whole speech, and we don't feel bad about the fact she's running away from her duties.
You think that magic will? You're just thinking about yourself, what you want. You don't care about me.
He exists as a damsel in distress, just so Zog can learn empathy and stand up for himself.
Stop moping and grab life by the tail. Zog!
He exists as a plot device just so Bean can get her play published. Because obviously somebody like Lucy or Elfo, or perhaps even Stan, couldn't do it for her.
Hello. I understand women are prohibited from working in the theater.
Yep.
How about pigs?
Come on in.
This is super obvious in the Theory thing, where all Merkimer does is tell Zog to stop throwing boulders at Bean.
Anyway, you can't just keep throwing boulders at them.
And then he disappears and does nothing to help.
If I had even one shred of dignity left, it is now long gone.
When Derek is Puppet King, he shows up, plants the idea in Derek's head to make changes, and then gets thrown out just as quickly.
Shouldn't you be wallowing in your own filth?
If only. You know that's been banned.
I don't know if it's because they just wanted Merkimer to remain a joke character, if they didn't know what to do with him, or if his actor's too expensive. I think it's probably the last one considering how busy Matt Berry can be. But that doesn't compare to what I'm gonna call his Day in the Limelight episode, Hey Pig Spender. To be honest, this is probably one of my least favorite episodes. I know a lot of people like it, just I can't. It has a few funny moments.
Gods who live in this tube, come to the throne room immediately and arrest the princess and her boy toys.
But let me explain why I dislike it. First off, the pacing is all over the place. And like episode 2, it just kinda drags on. It takes at least 7 minutes for the plot to start. And then it takes at least 3 more minutes to get to Bentwood. Why? There's tons of filler. Like, way more than a normal episode. And they do this multiple times.
We get mugs.
You can't just steal mugs from an established place?
Oh, when you don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Look,
you don't steal mugs.
If I need a
I don't care about Denise or Rufus or their bread mold. Just get to the story.
Denise says hi.
What?
She says she's high on bread mold, and you can't have any.
Not only that, but when we're about to leave to go to the story, we have to stop again for another worn out joke with 2 characters I actually like.
No more honking, no more honking. Honks go away,
Bye-bye.
Basically, there's a monster terrorizing Dreamland's countryside, and Bean goes to investigate. It's really Merkimer's human body, because, get this, when Merkimer became a pig, he didn't really become a pig. He simply switched his mind and consciousness with a pig. Like that episode with Jimmy and Cindy.
I see the way you eat and sleep and bathe. Well, not bathe. And I long for those days. I want to switch bodies with you again. What say you?
That is not at all what happened. We saw it on screen. His body became a pig, and the pig became a human. Sure, Dreamlanders are idiots, but that happened right before their eyes, in front of dozens of people, Dreamlander or not. If what they're saying is correct, shouldn't Merc have been a human but acted like a pig at the ceremony? If his consciousness is in the pig, how do they understand him? Shouldn't they be hearing squeals? Well, they really are making things up as they go along. With Dreamland having tons of enemies, Bean and Co realize they need weapons and armies. Only considering everything that's happened, nobody wants to work with them. Thankfully, they find that they can mine through Pig Merkimer. Human Merkimer? You know what? I'm just gonna call him Matt Berry. It seems easier. When Matt Berry and Merkimer, Bean and her friends journey into Bentwood. Now, props to the set designers, since Bentwood is freaking awesome. I thought Bean was being overdramatic with how she said,
Might as well give up and accept that I'll never be anything more than a wealthy queen of a fabulous faraway kingdom.
the kingdom definitely lives up to its reputation. Lorenzo and Bunny need to ride a horse just to greet visitors. You can't get any posher than that. Even the resident wizard is uber competent.
It would take a wizard of great competence to produce such a spell.
You mean anyone but Sorcerio? The potion is ready.
You really didn't want to be queen of this place? At first, Merkimer forgets the deal he made, just so he can go and drink with his pals, who implicitly reveal they only hang out with him because he's a prince. Despite returning home, nobody likes him. His parents don't even love him.
That pig our son seems so attached to.
Oh, hideous creature.
What do you mean, the pig or our son?
Here comes the twist. Matt Berry reveals he learned to talk and act like a human, and he compels Merkimer to stage a coup.
Merkimer. Oh, Merkimer.
These two are so adorable, they're like brothers. Better yet, because the wizard actually knows what she's doing, she knows how to return Merkimer to his human body. All he and Matt Berry need to do is drink a special potion. Too bad there's a trade-off to this greatness. Matt Berry plans on killing Bean and her friends. Super karmatically.
Isn't that cruel? Your friend Bean wanted money. Now she'll drown in it.
Man, what a jerk.
Ouch, that seems like a horrible way to go. Reminds me of that silo scene from A Quiet Place. With his newfound empathy, Merc runs off, gives up the potion, and frees the gang. Freed, Bean manages to knock Matt Berry off a ledge.
Quite sad.
That's disgusting.
Meaning Merkimer will forever be trapped as a pig.
Sorry I ruined everything.
No, you saved us, Merkimer.
You're a better person as a pig than any of those pigs back there are as people.
What good did Merkimer do besides release you guys? Give up his body? You did the deciding for him. I like the fact Merkimer got character development, but I think it would have been a little more thematically powerful if he himself threw Matt Berry off the ledge. Oh well, baby steps. The episode ends with them going back to Dreamland, with arrows and slightly richer. What happened to Lorenzo and Bunny? When we last see them, they were in the dungeon, and Matt Berry said nothing about killing them. He was probably gonna, but I doubt Merkimer would kill his parents, whether or not they hated him. Does Bentwood even have a ruler now, or are they gonna descend into anarchy? Well, that's the video, and that's my analysis of Prince Merkimer. Now, altogether, I don't think Merkimer's a bad character. He can be funny. I think what he suffers from the most is his purpose and his lack of screen time. He could easily become the fourth member of Bean's group, or a member of the court, but most of the time, he's just thrown to the wayside, unless the characters need something. Part 4 will come eventually, and I can't wait to see what role Merkimer will play.